The difference between the down payment to the seller and the down payment from the buyer is $20,000. That's what you would actually get paid as the wholesaler. What's up, everybody? In this video, I'll be showing you how you can wholesale a seller finance deal. This video is going to be very, very detailed, so just take 1 second, hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, and let's get into it. So with the seller finance offer, you're pretty much going to pitch this after your cash offer wasn't accepted. So in the example, you will see exactly how I set up my cash offer and how I pitch it to the seller. Now, the example property that we'll be using today, I'm just going to call it 123 Main Street. So the first thing you need to know whenever you're structuring a seller finance deal is what the estimated value would be. So in this particular situation, let's say that the estimated value of the property is $225,000. And what's always important is the condition of the property as well. So let's say that the property is in poor condition. With seller financing, we know this 9 times out of 10 doesn't have a loan in place, because if it did have a loan in place, then it would be considered a subject to, which we're going to save that for another video. But the loan amount is 0, so the seller would actually be becoming the bank for you. And that lets you know that this property has a potential equity amount of $225,000. So since we don't have a loan, we know that the monthly payment on this property will be $0. And we did some research, which I gave you a tool before, which was Rental Meter, or Zillow, or PropStream. We did some research on the market rent, and we realized that the market rents in the area were around $1,350 per month. And let's say, the seller situation was just, the property was vacant, it was just taking money out of their pockets for taxes every single month, and they were just ready to put the property behind them. So of course, like I said before, we know that the seller is interested in selling this property. And let's say that we pitched the cash offer to this particular seller and it wasn't accepted. We pitched multiple offers to the seller and it wasn't accepted. But the seller did want it, let's say $20,000-$30,000 over the actual price that we could offer. So we said, hey, what if we are able to give you that number, but you carry a portion of that for a short amount of time? How does that sound? So the seller said, what do you have in mind? Let's say we actually agreed to a price with the seller at $153,000. So that's the purchase price for the property. And most of the time now, whenever it comes down to this, I never ever mention a down payment to the seller. But sometimes you may have to pitch a down payment to the seller to actually get them to accept your seller finance or your creative offer. So let's say that the seller didn't accept a 0 down payment and they wanted $12,240. So let's say that amount is your actual down payment to the seller on a $153,000 loan. So that'll be the actual down payment that you put down on that purchase price, which the seller will be carrying the remaining amount over a certain term. Now, since we are mentioning term, let's say that the term of the loan would be for 3 years. So that means that the seller is actually interested in your offer at $153,000. The seller is willing to accept $12,240 down, and they will be willing to carry the remaining amount for 3 years. So that's going to create a new loan amount, which I said before, the seller is the bank in this situation, of $140,760. And another thing too, most of the time I don't mention interest unless the seller says that they want a higher payment. If the seller says that they want a higher payment every single month, then I may throw in some interest on top of that. So let's say the interest amount that we throw in on this property for the seller is 3% interest. So that would actually create a monthly payment to the seller of $590. If you wonder how I actually calculated this amount, I go to Google and I just type in mortgage calculator. Once you type in mortgage calculator in Google, on that same Google page, you will see where you can enter in the loan amount, you can enter in the amortization schedule, you can enter in the interest amount that you want to pay, and that's going to generate a monthly payment. It's just as simple as that. So in this case, the monthly payment would be $590 per month, and that is the seller side of the seller finance deal. So we can just go over the numbers real quick again. You got a purchase price of $153,000. Down payment to the seller is $2,240. You create a loan term of 3 years with the seller. That's what you agreed on. And the new loan amount after the down payment would be $140,760 with an interest rate at 3%, which will create a monthly payment of $590 per month. This particular type of deal is going to be great for someone that wants to get in and fix the property up and flip it. It's going to be great for a buy and hold type person that wants to rent the property out, because you'll be able to purchase this property with equity. Or it may be good for someone that is looking for a home to live in. This could be a retail type deal, and most of the time a retail buyer is going to pay way more than an investor. So I would recommend pitching most of these deals to retail buyers. That's where you will actually receive more whenever it's time to close on the property. But yeah, it can fit a retail buyer scenario if they don't mind fixing it up, because remember, this property is in poor condition. Now let's get into the buyer side of this deal. So the buyer, which will be either a fix and flipper, a buy and hold investor, or a retail buyer. The purchase price with the buyer, let's say you agreed on a price of $173,000. Down payment from the buyer would be $32,240, and the loan term will remain the same, which will be 3 years. The new loan amount will still be the same, which will be $140,760 at 3% interest, and the monthly payment every single month would be $590 per month. So I'm pretty sure that you notice that there's a difference between the down payment that you agreed to with the seller and the down payment that you agreed to with the buyer. That's where you actually make your money at. So let's go over how you get your profit. We have a down payment amount that goes to the seller of $12,240. We got a down payment from the buyer of $32,240, and we know that the loan term is 3 years. New loan amount is around $140,000. Monthly payment is around $590 per month. Market rents in the area would be $1,350. That's for the buy and hold investor. And potential cash flow, which would be for the buy and hold investor, is $760 per month. The difference between the down payment to the seller and the down payment from the buyer is $20,000. That's what you would actually get paid as the wholesaler. So you see how you can make money in this with this deal. And remember, if you haven't watched my video on how to make $700,000 in 1 year through wholesale and real estate, please check it out right here, because I actually mentioned some of the KPIs that are very important in your business. And let's say 1 in every 50 leads you close. Implementing this type of strategy where you can make $20,000 can actually bring your leads per deal down from 150 to 1 in 25 or 1 in 35. And it also depends on the type of rapport you build with the seller. But that's just the power of seller financing. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And leave a comment down below if you would like for me to create a video on subject to financing. And I'll break it down and show you how it's different from seller financing with a property that doesn't have a mortgage. But yeah, definitely feel free to leave a comment down below if you'd be interested in seeing that. And I'll see you next time.